Hold a second. Okay. All right. Okay. So I have an hour before court starts again, and I have half an hour until the soap starts. So I'm going to try to do all the videos I'm going to do for now in that time, and then I'll do the rest of them at 2 o'clock. Okay. All right. So I'm a day behind, but yesterday for the court was crazy. Okay, first of um, all right. I'm going to try to give you as much information as you need to get caught up. Ashley Benefield, the defendant, is accused of unaliving her husband um, by shooting him. Okay? Uh, there are many theories why. The ultimate one, I believe, is they were headed for divorce and uh, they were in a bad custody fight for their daughter, their small daughter, Emerson. Okay. Yesterday I started with the one of the witnesses, Doug Benefield's daughter, Eva, being kind of admonished by the court for speaking to an interviewer after she was told not to speak to anybody. You know, what they tell you when you go and testify. You can't speak to anybody. You can't speak about your testimony, any other testimony, anything like that. You're supposed to be not talking to anyone because it could unduly influence the proceedings, right? Okay, so while I don't know, um, okay, the reason why I said I don't know is because they asked her a lot of questions. She's 23 years old. First of all, I have to put that out there because it's going to tie into what I'm going to say next. She supposedly talked to an interviewer about for a news station about her feelings, how she felt about things. Apparently, according to her, she didn't talk about her testimony or anything else or anybody else's testimony. So, in her eyes, she didn't break the rules. But I say if someone tells you don't do anything in a court case, you don't do anything, meaning post on social media, which she did also. Um, and I know that I use social media, but it's only to put out my videos. I don't really talk about much on social media. So I think it's a generational thing. Um, okay, so that happened. Then there was another thing about one of the juror members possibly hearing something about the case. And once again, like I said, when you're involved in a court case, you're not supposed to hear anything. You're not supposed to say anything, hear anything, read anything, because you could be unduly influenced in your verdict against in the trial. Okay. And he said that he was there in the restaurant and he didn't hear anything and he didn't see the TV because apparently there was TV on in the restaurant giving coverage of the trial. But he said he didn't hear anything, see anything, anything. So that was done. But it it was a circus for an hour. Okay. Then we get into the trial, the actual evidence. And the state, it seemed like the state was only going to call a few witnesses in accordance with the trials that we've been watching recently, where The witness list seems endless. They closed or ended their case in 3 days. I think they, I think their thought pattern is once you establish the fact that Doug and Ashley Benefield were in a good, happy marriage, you have kind of everything you need to prove there was no need for her to do what she did, allegedly. Um, okay, so they go through a lot of text messages and they both seem happy. It's none of the text messages seem argumentative at all. It wasn't like the last trial where, the Karen Reed trial where you might be able to say they were in a fight. Although, even in that case, uh, some other legal analysts said, I've had worse fights with my wife or my husband or whatever than that. So, uh, I don't know. Don't, uh, I have, personally, I have fought a little bit, but I don't usually fight that much. When it gets to the point of fighting, I just say, oh, okay, we should stop before we say anything. We'll regret kind of a thing. So, hmm. Okay. So there's that. So after that, they ended their case and said we rest. Um. So now that I don't know. It was kind of like okay, and then I kind of figured they were done because I'm like, what else can they say? Um, because also they had the cell phone guy and the medical examiner for the state yesterday. So I kind of figured after that, they're done. Okay, so I guess okay. Oh, I wanted to talk about this too. I wanted to talk about her demeanor and her wardrobe. Okay, the first couple days, I didn't really take notes, but I noticed she was dressed kind of in a blue top and like a it seemed like a blue outfit. And then yesterday I took notice because um she seemed to be dressed a little differently, different colors, and she actually had makeup on, you could tell. So I wondered why she did it because if if it was a normal day, I wouldn't put so much weight into this. But given it's a trial, that's where I think why. Like, what's the motivation? And I keep going back to the same thing, like coming to the same conclusion in my head, which is okay, you're in a trial where you supposedly unalive somebody. Don't you want to look the most demure and everything you can? And also have enough touch so that you don't look like you're cold and unfeeling. And then, but see, your affect has to fit what you're trying to say. Meaning, if you want to look calm and everything, you have to look calm. I mean, you have to try to appear calm. She looks like I don't know if I had to describe her in her body language, just like facial expression. She looks like she's semi bored and just there, but doesn't want to be there, which I understand that to a point. But she doesn't seem to have many emotions whatsoever. Um, and I don't know. And then there's another angle to it. Um, which is the camera seemed to focus on her a lot. So the reason why I know her facial expressions is because I've been able to study them for 3 days. Um, I don't know. So, yeah, this is going to be the last for this video, and then I'll quickly make a video up until this point for day 4, right after this, okay? But also, well, I'll talk about it in the next video, okay? All right, bye everybody.